This episode had a reference to Dragon Ball Z. You know I loved this one. Pop Team Epic returns for another crazy episode that tries to get us to laugh, cry, and also scare the living fuck out of us. I don't know what it is about this series, but they can actually make these characters kind of creepy, especially the way that they ended both of the segments of this week's episode with Popuko talking on the phone and then suddenly hanging up and then hearing some crazy ringing, and then the second half hearing a door knocking. It's pretty freaking disturbing that they can make these cutesy, almost South Park looking characters pretty damned horrifying. The good news is it's a nice juxtaposition to the rest of the episode, which is absolutely hilarious. Another episode which is filled to the brim with tons of references, everything from Dragon Ball Z to Tekken and in between. This was a fun episode. Hell, I even think that there was a Terminator 2 reference. It was a very thinly veiled one, but I do believe that it was there. So this episode is going to seem very familiar. It looks like Pop Team Epic has sort of like figured out its formula. They're going to create one large segment for every episode, which goes on for, 7 to 8 minutes. And that's going to take up most of the runtime, followed by a ton of little short segments, which are going to go down in meme history, just like the actual namesake itself. And you know what? I'm okay with this. I really am. I like a nice little meteor story at the beginning. And this one was a really great moment, as it was basically a parody of the tournament saga that you see in a lot of different anime series, made popular by stuff like Dragon Ball, but also seen in shows like Naruto and Yu Yu Hakusho and like countless more. It's just insane, and they also poked fun at the fact that there's always a group or organization at the top which has a stylistic name, they're the best of the best, and we get to see the hero take them down. The only thing is, this isn't like a typical tournament. They're playing shogi, which is a very popular Japanese game that I know absolutely nothing about. My only knowledge of shogi comes to the fact that I've seen it in other anime series like Naruto before. I don't know the rules, but you don't even need to know the rules to actually enjoy this, as the humor of the scene comes from the fact that we get to see these really intense moments with characters basically just playing a board game. That and the actual opponents themselves are really funny. There's this group that is known as the Big Four. I know they sound familiar, you know you've seen them in other anime series before, and they have the same qualities. A weak, timid guy who's not that strong, a weird, crazy woman who's completely into herself, and even Heihachi from frickin' Tekken. Yes, Heihachi is in this episode, and it's awesome. He's done in a much more realistic style and looks very much like his character from the games. He's also a robot as well. It's just great. I really love that they included some Tekken references in here. And then it all ends with Popuko, who's going up against her greatest opponent, which is a freakish android version of Pipimi, and she's the PP-1000. Basically, she looks metallic and metal-like. I'm guessing this is a reference to the T-1000 from Terminator 2. They end up having an epic shogi match, which results in them shooting ki blasts at each other. Basically, they shoot Kamehameha blasts at each other, Dragon Ball style. They don't even try to hide it. They even, say Kamehameha, but I think they say Kimi no Na wa, which I believe is that movie which is called Your Name, which I'm not sure what the reference is here, but there's a big explosion, it's awesome, and it's a great reference to the classic tournament arcs themselves. This whole segment is really funny. It's probably one of my favorite segments from the series. I especially love the deadpan commentary from the male and female in this entire scene. They're giving you commentary about the shogi matches, and what I love about it is just how the female there basically is just there to always repeat what the guy is saying in the form of a question and occasionally say something very awkward. I don't know what it is about that, but it's hilarious, it's deadpan, and I absolutely love it. The rest of the episode is exactly what you'd expect from Pop Team Epic, which are a lot of really short moments, the hilariously bad Bob Epic teams. They did do one in this episode that I liked, which was a retread of another joke in a previous episode, which was done in the more classic style of Pop Team Epic. I can't believe I'm saying there's a classic style of this show, where the scene where she tries to leave her house, but the blanket comes over and wants her to go back to bed, and she goes to sleep. Here, it's taken to a new level with all of the things in her room coaxing her to go to sleep. They all have creepy faces, and there it is. And it all ends in a pastel style that looks a lot more realistic, but still looking incredibly unrealistic all at the same time. It's a pretty great segment right there. The rest of the episode, like I said, reviewing the show, it's almost impossible when you look at the differences between all of these characters. There's even references to Gakuen Handsome, which is a really stupid game that I have no I'm embarrassed that I actually know that reference in this episode. Just, ugh, that's the thing. There's so many references in every episode that it's almost impossible to talk about all of them. That makes the series really hard to review, to be perfectly honest. And that leads us to the rundown on this week's episode of Pop Team Epic. I'm not sure I had a favorite segment from this episode. It's just not fair to choose because the first one I thought was so strong and actually had things that I understood that were going on. There's a lot of references in the series which are strictly Japanese that I just frankly do not get a lot of the time, and it's the type of thing that I'd need to do research for if I actually do want to find a lot of the humor in it. That being said, the show still has this incredibly quick anime style of telling a joke real fast, which is incredibly reminiscent of Robot Chicken and Tim and Eric, and if you like those type of shows, you're absolutely going to love this one. They continue to do the troll effect of having the second half of the episode just be a retelling with completely different voice actors, and this one is definitely worth sticking around for. They even managed to give us completely different dialogue in some of the segments, and it leads to a lot of hilarity. Really, this was a fantastic episode of Pop Team Epic, which left me laughing out loud all of the time. I really liked this episode, and I really liked this anime series, which I truly expected to actually hate, but every week I always manage looking forward to the next big episode, popping up my feet, getting some popcorn and a beer, and laughing at the antics of two of the most ridiculous anime characters that I've ever seen. This was another great episode, in my opinion. A little muddled in some of the references and cultural things that I don't understand, which some viewers are not all going to get. But still, a great episode nonetheless. I'm giving this one a 4 out of 5. I'd love to hear your thoughts about it. Please tell me all of them in the comment section below. What was your favorite segment from this week's episode? Maybe tell me some of your favorite references or ones that you want to actually point out, and what you hope to see from the rest of Pop Team Epic. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. I'll see you guys next time. And as always, stay down now, baby.